12 Monkeys had the biggest and best finale last night since Breaking Bad. I know it's a bold statement, but honestly, the writing in the show is so well thought out and clever. It's genius. And it sucks that not a lot of people watch it or have even heard about it, because this was such a brilliant show. And if you've never seen it, you should click off this video and binge the series right now. Also, because spoilers. Before we get into this video, I'd like to remind you to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with my latest videos. Alright, let's begin. This is the only show that's able to pull off bringing characters back from the dead. The CW does this all the time, but for no real reason other than fan service. While in this show, it's a bit of fan service, but it's done with a purpose. Because the way they do it is that they drop hints earlier on in the show, and these characters will die later on in their cycle, and they die as heroes, making their death so much more tragic and emotional when you think back to it. It's also really emotional when they returned in this episode because of how they entered. We were taken back to the night in the forest, and it brings back so many soul-crushing memories of it, so it brings us joy when we finally get to see Ramsey once again. For Deacon, it brings us joy there too, because we are able to recognize his epic entrance, which is his theme song, Don't You Forget About Me. And the fact that this was a younger Deacon who knew about how this was going to end for almost the whole series was just so mind-blowing. That here are the hints that were dropped. So taking the ending at face value, we get to see that Cole, Cassandra, the Joneses, everyone gets a fairy tale ending. But we all know that there must be more to it. It couldn't just be left at that, because there are so many clues. So this is a theory of what really happened, which is based on speculation, although the answer is supposed to be uncertain. Terry Matalas, one of the creators of the show, simply said, "Well, what do you think?" after being asked about which ending truly happened in an interview with IGN. He then went on to say, "The right ending is the one you choose. There are two ways of looking at it. One is where they saved the world. Jones saved Cole and he was able to reunite with Cassie. The other way of looking at it, I suppose, even though I don't personally look at it this way, would be that we never really saw Cassie turn off the console and Titan. So is this happy ending someone's personal red forest? That could be up to you, and you can make a solid argument for it." So he's obviously left the ending ambiguous because for a show like this that deals with causality and such, having one definite ending may not make complete sense. It's purposefully left open to interpretation. As bad as it seems, I'm going to choose the ending to be the unhappy one, since to me, it's the one that makes the most sense. And by the way, I had thought about this right after the episode before reading any interviews or anyone else's reviews and thoughts and opinions. This is purely based on mine. So let's start with the moment where Cassie has to press the button. You think that she's successful, and you think that when everything turned blue, everything was okay. But it may be trying to trick you. In that scene, we see the prophecy come true. The demon cursed the snake, causing it to bite its own tail. Cole is the demon that influenced Rayleigh's decision. The one that she chose is the one that ended up cursing time. She's a bit like the monkey in the middle, being tricked into making the decision that affects the Red Forest to happen anyway. After that scene, we see everyone return to the original timelines, but when we see Cass again, we see the 2013 version of her without the white streak. So where did our Cass go, and does she still have the white streak? Let's go back to Season 1, Episode 9, where Cole meets her and her cycle finally ends here. She tells him that she has a long way to go and of course, see you soon, just like everyone else did when their cycles ended. This means that this is our Cass and the virus does happen. We know this because Olivia is sent back and becomes the origin of the virus. And so this Cass is the one who went back to the original timeline. So what about the one we see in 2013? And how did time just owe one to Cole? It would never do that. So my theory is that it's another version of her, and time played around with it so much that it created a multiverse. A red forest where different outcomes and different points in time exist simultaneously. We see older versions of all the Joneses being a happy family even though they all died, and we see Deacon and Chicken in the bar. We'll get into that in a moment. Now let's look at the moment where Ethan is talking to his great-grandmother. This is in the year 2037. They talk about starting Project Splinter and so on. Now notice that Ethan is alive. If Cole was truly erased from every point in time, Ethan would not exist because he would have never been born. This means that this one's a different Ethan, like everyone else. They're different because they have different timelines, but at the same time, they are remembering things that may have seeped through another timeline. So, like I said with Deacon and Chicken in the bar, notice how every scene in the show, it tells us what year we're going to. But in this final scene, we aren't shown that it's a different year, except when it shows 2013 once. Because All of this is actually happening at the same time. The Red Forest was successful. And to top this all off, even the intro showed us right from the beginning. All those clocks are different versions of reality caught up in this Red Forest. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the finale. Could it be a multiverse, just a dreamlike inception, or was the ending really happily ever now? Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.